I want you, the viewer, to close your eyes. I want you to imagine that it is 2012 and that you're sitting in the back of your parents' car and you have your mum's phone on you. Now what are you doing? Playing Angry Birds. Now I want you to imagine the phone got whacked with a baseball bat. This is exactly what happened back in 2019. Angry Birds got deleted from the App Store, but why? And who could have done this? Well, I'll tell you who done it. It's gotta be the company that owns Angry Birds, the company that prioritizes money over their fans, the company that ignores feedback, uses lackluster marketing plans, ruins franchises. Say hello to Rovio. I have a rising beef with this company, and I think I can go as far to say that I think that it is the worst gaming company of all time. Fight me. EA, well, at least they're consistent with their game quality. Activision, at least they put some effort into advertising. Every aspect of Rovio as a company I have problems with, and today I'm going to run down all of these factors and expose why this company deserves to be hated. Let's get started. In 2019, Rovio has been making plenty of games: Angry Birds Action, Angry Birds Evolution, and continuing support for Angry Birds 2. And they realized, people aren't getting these games as much as they're getting our older ones. Well, what should we do about it? Well, what about we make these games our only option? Yep, that's right. A majority of the older Angry Birds games were deleted from the App Store. Now, they have stated a few reasons for doing this. Firstly, as I have said, it was so that they could focus more on their newer and arguably less quality games. There are a few reasons as to why this was a bad idea. There's no way this was the best way to give your other games more attention. If anything, you're probably giving them less attention, since people are going to be leaving the franchise after they saw what happened. And also, there's no way that they think that their newer games are worth keeping up more than their older ones. Let's compare Angry Birds Journey to Angry Birds Classic, shall we? Let's see here. Classic has more strategy with the 3-star system, more birds, more distinct levels, a less babyish art style, no battle pass, and cutscenes. Another reason they said they removed the old games is that modern software can handle these games as they were made for an outdated engine. Now this could be true, but there are some counterpoints. Firstly, they managed to keep up Bad Piggies and Angry Birds Friends and continue to update them. What makes the other ones different? And secondly, other similar games from other companies made at similar times, like Cut the Rope made by Zeptolab, and Half-Brick Selectionum's games is still up and running well. There's no way Rovio's games couldn't do the same thing as well. Every excuse that they have dug up, there's something that goes against it. And it just goes to show that Rovio handles their financial stability with as little care as my cat when I tell him I have depression. Oh no guys, our revenue is plummeting, what are we gonna do? It's just such an odd decision considering the fact that these games are what made Rovio so popular, so unique, so special. And now they're just like any other mobile game company on the market. And speaking of the market, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you saw any of Rovio's products advertised well? When was the last time they did anything more to promote than putting up a video on YouTube? Well, the only half-decent advertising they'd done in years was a Times Square billboard promoting their show Angry Birds Mystery Island. Rovio's recent games have all been shut down. Angry Birds Legends, shut down. Angry Birds Kingdoms, shut down. Rovio Classics Angry Birds, shut down. Bad Piggies 2, shut down. All because they didn't get enough traction or interest. I will live and die not seeing any gameplay of Angry Birds Tennis. Have you ever heard of Angry Birds Racing? Exactly. And why is that? Because of lack of advertising. I didn't even know that the classic Angry Birds plushies were re-released because I was never told, so they became very hard to get. It's not like Rovio has the money to do some promotion. Sega gave them $700 million in 2023. That's plenty to do at least a bit of marketing, but nope! They decide to spend it on a new Amazon Prime show called Angry Birds Mystery Island. Oh. Yeah, it's a mystery how they didn't expect us to fail. They did better advertising for the red body pillow than they did for Angry Birds Kingdoms. I am losing brain cells just processing that. Okay, so Rovio has to get their act cleared up if they want to have a successful future. And they haven't been doing a good job so far, as we can see. This is especially due to the fact that Rovio actively ignores their fans. Rovio put up a poll that would decide the art direction for Bad Piggies 2. This way, the fans can choose which design they would like the most. The three options were the classic designs, the Toons designs, and the movie designs. 93% of the votes went to the classic designs, 5% to the Toons designs, and 2% to the movie designs. And what did Rovio do? Well, movie designs it is. I swear, it's like they're actively trying to betray and lose their fanbase. They put up another poll on the Angry Birds gaming channel asking which Chuck design you like the most, and as you can see, 88% of the votes went to the Toons design, and the last time the Toons design was used in an Angry Birds game that's fully up was in Angry Birds Friends when the art style got updated in 2017. And the classic designs, the most liked one, hasn't been used since 2012. Something else that Rovio is aware of is the fact that the most liked Angry Birds character is Hal. They know this because they made an entire video listing 10 reasons as to why he's the best bird. So if they're aware of this, then why do they barely ever use him? And more importantly, why did they kill him? Now this probably doesn't mean that he's actually dead, of course, but he hasn't been used in a game since his inclusion in Angry Birds 2 in 2019. So who knows? Okay, so we've already established that the older games are gone, and we only have the scraps left in the App Store. Let's see what we have. We got Bad Piggies, okay, that's good. But then we got Angry Birds Transformers. Oh, but then we have Angry Birds Friends, that's a classic slingshot game. Barely. Okay, but what about Angry Birds Evolution? No. Or Angry Birds Blast. Or Match 3. Or Pop. Or Pop Blast. Or Dream Blast. Okay, how many of these games does one need? Okay, but what about Angry Birds 2? That's the most supported Angry Birds game right now. Yes, a slingshot game. With hats. And an energy system. And microtransactions. And a gambling system. And a battle... okay. Well then what about Angry Birds Journey? Oh yeah, that has a battle pass too. So out of the options we have, if we take away any copy-pasted puzzle games, inferior versions of other games, and games that aren't supported anymore... Yep, that's it. Angry Birds 2. That's pretty much the only game Rovio supports nowadays. Every single other game that they've ever made is not supported anymore. Look at this tier list I found online. This is absolutely pitiful. Not to mention the fact that Angry Birds 2 is the only Angry Birds game that has a section on the Discord. And as of writing the script, Rovio released a video called Flock Forward, which is basically a video format showing announcements that will happen to Angry Birds 2. The weird thing about this is that they already have a similar video format that is similar to Sony's State of Play or a Nintendo Direct, and that covers all of Rovio's games that are currently up. But nope, the only game that is ever acknowledged by Rovio is Angry Birds 2. Now I gotta hand it to Rovio, as in this video they have admitted that the current state the game is in isn't great and that they're sorry that it's causing frustration to people, so it's good to know that they're trying to fix parts of the game that need fixing. But it only makes it painfully clear that they have no plans with any of their other games. The first half of 2024 has been pretty miserable in terms of Angry Birds news. The only notable thing that has happened for the past 7 months is the Angry Birds Movie 3 teaser and Angry Birds Mystery Island. That's it. Absolutely nothing related to the games, just outside media, and that's very disappointing. Not to mention the games themselves have been in a bad state recently. As I have said, Angry Birds 2 has added a battle pass system and an energy system, so you can only play the game just a select few times a day. Angry Birds Journey removed the story of the game in favour of a Fortnite Battle Pass. And all of this is being added because of Sega. I have had hopes that Sega would be able to give some light to Angry Birds, but they proceeded to bury it further and further into the ground. In terms of games that are upcoming, this is a culmination of every single problem I have with modern day Rovio. Firstly, I am baffled by the advertising of this. The only place I can find this is some Twitter posts that aren't from Rovio or Reddit posts. And also, to point out the elephant in the room, what am I looking at? This has to be AI generated. There is no way they actually thought this was a good idea. Like, what even is this? So will Rovio fall into bankruptcy? Well, I think if they keep going how they're going right now, making low effort stuff, doing little to no advertising, and continuing to ignore criticism, they might. Which is unfortunate to see. Rovio was a special company back in the day. They dominated the mobile game market for years, releasing good game after good game after good game. But they went down the rabbit hole of modern mobile gaming by making a dozen match-em games, rip-offs, and cash grabs. It feels like all the games Rovio makes these days are more so made out of spite rather than passion. The more popular side of Angry Birds these days is the fan games, because the fan base has had to survive for themselves without Rovio doing a damn thing with the franchise. So what have the fans done? Angry Birds Power Trouble, an Angry Birds classic follow-up with the gimmick of the birds' abilities being swapped and jumbled around. Angry Birds Refresh, a remake of Angry Birds Facebook that revives a good old version of Angry Birds Friends. Angry Birds Fight Reboot, a reboot of Angry Birds Fight, no way, and Angry Birds Go Ultimate and Angry Birds Go Nitro. Improved versions of Angry Birds Go with more gems and more things. So hopefully Rovio can clear their act soon, otherwise they are doomed to fall. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. Thanks for watching.